favorite games of all time on the PC is a game called WarCraft 2. Well, I am happy to announce that WarCraft 3 has finally arrived. And to show you how excited I am, I'm gonna bring an orc right out here for a big battle, me and the orc. Orc! Can I get an orc out here? Orc! Orc! I asked for an orc, not an elf.
Come on, dog.
Just go. Go. Get out.
We're here at Blizzard. We're talking about WarCraft 3 with Jason. Now, Jason, how are you guys going to be squaring off against other real-time strategy games like Age of Myth?
WarCraft 3 and Age of Myth, they're both real-time strategy games. That's about where the similarities end. However, WarCraft 3, it's got a lot of role-playing elements in it as well. You've got a hero that will level up as you go, be able to control items and stuff. And the control scheme is very similar to what you've already seen in WarCraft 2 and StarCraft. They share a lot of the same elements, though. They're all really good games.
Now, those of us that have played WarCraft 1 and 2, is WarCraft 3 going to throw us for a loop, or are we going to know what's going on?
I think you'll definitely be at home. The control scheme has not changed. It's been enhanced. There's a lot of new things that you'll see, different subgroup controls, different abilities for waypointing. I think you'll definitely be at home in it.
And on the other side, if no one's ever played WarCraft 1 or 2, can they play WarCraft 3?
Absolutely. In fact, we definitely want the novice gamer, somebody who doesn't even really play games, to be able to sit down and do this. You've got a really good tutorial level in the beginning that shows you the basics of real-time strategy gaming, and then every aspect of the game has a tooltip for it. If you put your mouse cursor over the item, it'll tell you exactly what it does.
So tell us about the races in the game.
Well, there's 4 races in the game that you'll control. You've got a fun linear storyline, starting with the humans, going to the undead, and then eventually playing orcs and night elves. There's also a 5th race called the Burning Legion, which are demon units that wind up being everybody's big enemy.
Do you have a favorite race when you play?
Depends on my mood. If I just want to do something that's simple and fun, I'll play orcs and go out and just do some good bashing. Night elves are a lot of fun, though. They have a bunch of different spellcasters. You kind of have to really pay attention when you're playing.
So now is this strictly PC?
No, we're doing it for the Macintosh as well. And we're actually shipping this game in 11 different languages, counting English.
Are we going to have the same kind of fun sound effects that we've always had in the past, or have you enhanced?
The Blizzard sense of humor is still there. I definitely recommend clicking on the Goblin Zeppelin. That's a good time. Really, all the units are. You just click away and they'll start mouthing.
Eidos just signed a deal with Sony, which makes the next Tomb Raider game a console exclusive for the PlayStation 2. Get ready for Tomb Raider, the Angel of Darkness.
I'm with Adrian Smith, who is one of the co-founders of Core Design, and we're talking about the newest iteration of Tomb Raider. This is Tomb Raider, Angel of Darkness.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit, encapsulate for us what this new Tomb Raider is all about.
It's a whole new experience for Lara. I mean, we're going to take Lara out of what people have become to know, and used to, and put into a whole new situation. She's actually going to be thrust into something, deep into something that she's actually got to sort of fight her way out of. It's going to be a very different experience for people, but it's also very true to what Tomb Raider's always been in the past.
I've seen a little bit of the early footage in this game, and it is creepy. It's dark. Describe how you guys are putting the story together. It's different than what I've seen in other game development companies.
We learned from our lessons from Tomb Raider. 5 games in 5 years, everyone in almost isolation. So when we sat down a few years ago and started to discuss the Angel of Darkness, one of our main priorities was to actually consider the franchise was going to not just be 1 game, not 2, but in actual fact 4 games.
Right.
And to see how we could, adopt the style at the beginning that we could follow through, adopt a story that we could follow through, and, adopt a whole sort of baddies that would progress through each of the games. We really had to focus back in and see how we could push the envelope a little bit further.
Right.
So this is, our first time at taking a new engine. It's ground up development. All the ideas that we've had in the original games that we've wanted to do are all going to be there in this new game. So it's a very, very different process indeed.
Obviously, it's not just graphics that we're talking about here. You guys have updated the Tomb Raider experience. Can you give us a sense of what we're going to expect out of the game?
You're right. The consumer expects great graphics now. That's a given. So we have to look within the game mechanics at how we can change it, how we can, make Lara different, how you know, the Lara that you play is different to the Lara that I play. You know,
Right.
we've introduced a second character in there, which is something we've never had in the game before. This character's called Curtis. He's got his own agenda. He's sort of, you know, the brains and the brawn, you know, between Lara and him. We have interaction with other characters. You know, Lara's going to meet people and talk to people. She's going to extract information. You know, she can be passive or aggressive with them, and you know that will determine what they tell her. That will then determine the route that she's going to go. You know, I think, you know, one of the biggest elements that we wanted to introduce was a more identifiable Lara to how you play the game. So potentially your Lara will be different than my Lara. Your Lara will have different attributes, different skill sets than my Lara, and you can get to that room that I can't get because I haven't quite got there yet. To give you some sort of idea, we've gone from Lara having about 20, 25 standard moves to Lara having about 180 moves. And, you know, the camera's going to play a massive part. We've got to really move the camera more fluidly. We've got to, you know, use a lot more drop cameras to set that cinematic experience up.
It's going to be good to see Lara in sort of the next generation systems. Continued success.
Thanks very much.
There's a new game coming out from LucasArts, and this is the one you've all been waiting for. You get to play Boba Fett's dad, Jango Fett. The game is called Bounty Hunter. Oh, look, here comes Boba Fett now. Looks more like Boba Fett. Yeah, a little better.
Star Wars Bounty Hunter is a third-person, heavy action adventure game. We're going to be coming out this November. In the game, you play Jango Fett, and we answer one of the big questions from Star Wars Episode 2. Why was Jango Fett chosen to be the specimen for the clone army? Our game starts out with Darth Sidious giving his new apprentice, Count Dooku, a message with two major points. One, Kamari Vosa. She's this deranged former Jedi who's interfering with his plans for galactic domination, so he wants her taken out. The second part of his message is, I want you to find the prime specimen for us to base our clone army on. So he sends this message out to some of the elite bounty hunters of the galaxy, and Jango Fett is one of them.
Excellent. Now let's talk a little bit about the game. I mean, we got a third-person shooter here.
Third-person shooter.
And we got jetpacks, which is the most exciting thing for me because I was playing the game and it's like you got jetpacks, but you can fire while shooting the jetpacks.
What we wanted to do with this game was basically you have the majority of his arsenal from the beginning, but you're using your skill set, combining the jetpack and his weapons and his arsenal and kind of your evasive maneuvers to defeat the bosses and the enemy throughout the game.
Oh, what are the different environments that Jango gets himself involved with?
Jango Fett is not your normal Star Wars hero, and then he's kind of an anti-hero. You're in the seedy, dark underbelly of Star Wars, chasing down bounties and scumbags. So we've had a lot of fun. Yeah, he's got a flamethrower. One of his weapons.
Look at that, huh? The Ring of Fire. Wow.
We've had a lot of fun kind of creating the darker side of Star Wars. So in doing so, we have 18 levels spread over 6 worlds. 2 of them are from the films, being Coruscant and Tatooine. And Coruscant is what you're seeing in the background right now.
Can you go to Tatooine?
You do.
So now
you go to Tatooine, and you get to actually in Tatooine you see Gardula the Hutt's palace.
Now, what about, you know, I know you can roast up stuff. Can we get like Jawa on a stick? Can we get that happening? Thank you very much. I can't wait to see this game. It's going to be incredible. It's my favorite Star Wars game, I think, to date ever.
Hey, it's time for the second floor move of the week. This time we got one from Kazuya when he's got an enemy's back to the wall. Ready? You start with a demon god fist, then a left-right combo, then a soul thrust which goes to a wall hit, and then it's a dragon uppercut. That guy's a monster. Yeah! Okay, this is how you do the moves. Get a pencil. While you're rising, it's right punch, then left punch, right punch, then the wall hit, which is forward plus right punch, then forward, neutral, down, down, forward plus left punch. There it is, baby. You got him.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, the Man of Steel, after this.
You know, there's never been a good Superman video game. Well, hopefully, that will all change with Superman, the Man of Steel. Excuse me.
Hey, we're talking about Superman, the Man of Steel, and I'm with Sean Fish, who's the producer on the game. He works at a company called Circus Freak. I'm a huge comic book fan, and I would say that the best comic book game that I've played so far has been Spider-Man on the PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast. How does this game compare to that?
Oh, there's no doubt that that's a great game.
Yeah.
We have some advantages, I think, in that Superman has this array of powers that no other character in any comic book milieu has.
Sure.
And in order to make a Superman game, one of the basic precepts we started with was we wanted you to feel like the Man of Steel. And you have to have access to all of Superman's powers all the time. You got his heat vision, freeze breath, telescopic vision, X-ray vision, super speed, super strength, the ability to fly. So we can do things with effects, such as the X-ray vision effect. It's usable anywhere in the game. You can fly up to an enemy, a car, a building, a statue, and you can scan them all with your X-ray vision. And you can use it in specific ways, such as pipes that are running into a building, and one of them has a substance within it that's going to react poorly to your heat vision, and another one might have a substance that's going to react poorly to your freeze breath. And you have to determine which is which and use the appropriate power on it. So with the power of the Xbox, we can do these amazing effects that I think are going to just blow people's minds.
How big of a world are we talking about here?
The whole city's been upgraded. It really is the city of tomorrow now. So there's huge skyscrapers, sky cars, railway tracks all over the place. We have this vertical quadrant that most games really don't have to have. Superman can fly up 1,000, 1,500 feet in the air.
Did DC have any direct input?
DC's been great. They're terrific help to us in this process in a number of ways. We met with them from the beginning to sort of develop our design and our storyline. And then they've given us a lot of great reference art, whether it be from the comic books or style drawings or whatnot. And then we also are working very closely with one of their writers, and he's helping us with our dialogue and storyline, so it's very true to the Superman mythology.
Sounds like we got another hot comic book game, and I cannot wait. I love comic books, I love Superman, cannot wait to play this game. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Hey, I couldn't think of a better place to review a military-style game than the nose of this here tank. And I'm talking about Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. Every character has at least 2, possibly even 3 weapons. The graphics are pretty good. I mean, the backgrounds look pretty decent. The controls are real easy to get used to. It's a difficult game as you keep progressing because the levels get bigger and bigger, but there's lots of different modes like easy mode. The other great thing, though, is the multiplayer. You ready for this? You can go head-to-head with another Game Boy Advance with the cable in a kind of a deathmatch type of situation, or you can link up 4 of these things and you can go on all of the campaigns. They have demolition guys, which are good with bombs and grenades and things like that. And of course, my favorite is the sniper. Now, the sniper guy is great because when you go into sniper mode, the whole screen gets dark and you have your target thing going down and you can get really good distance and boom, and you pop a guy. Highly recommend it. One of my favorite games ever for the Game Boy Advance. I'm talking about Rainbow Six Rogue Spear 9.5. So Resident Evil.
Let's talk about Resident Evil for the GameCube.
This game, Resident Evil, is one of the best looking video games, period.
Take a look at the graphics in Resident Evil. I mean, this is a beautiful game. The sound is incredible. The presentation has been kicked up so many notches, it really adds weight and value to this game. Longtime players will be entering into, mostly a new experience. The first puzzle that you have to do, everything's been switched out a little bit. The other thing that's different is now there's some defensive weapons. And the other thing to take note of is that if you don't kill all the zombies, I mean, you can run by them if you want because they're pretty slow, which kind of bugs me. I mean, I don't like that you can walk for your life, but...
Walk for your life! Walk for your life!
If you don't kill all the zombies, they'll turn into super zombies, and...
I am Super Zombie, defender of all that is bad. My biggest problem and biggest complaint with this game, the controls.
Yeah.
People have just gotten used to horrible controls. The most dumb, stupid thing they still have is that you have to push the button to open doors and pick up items. And the inventory management in this thing is stupid. I don't care how great Resident Evil looks. I'm still mad, upset, and the controls are wrong.
I hear what you're saying, and I have a lot of the same frustrations. I gotta say, though, that this game draws you in, even though it has these flaws.
Oh, for sure. It creates an amazing,
it really
awesome
does.
ambiance.
And you
I'm
have
not
to,
saying that at
you
all.
have to respect where the developers have taken
fine.
the level of presentation
But you know
in this
what?
game.
I don't care how pretty it looks. I don't care how great the sound is. If I cannot control my character on screen the way I want to, I'm sorry, you drop the ball,
Yeah.
and the game is not enjoyable to me. It's not going to get a good score.
What are you going to give it?
7.
I'm going to give it an 8.
All right, let's switch over and talk about a creepy game on the Xbox. It's called Hunter: The Reckoning.
Well, okay, and here's some mindless, senseless fun.
Now, the story of this game is that these 4 characters somehow managed to subdue this evil creature, kind of creepy guys, inside of this prison. All of these guys start busting out, and they start tormenting the town that this prison is in. And you have to kill the demonic creatures, save the innocent people, and work your way through the game.
Didn't realize there was a story. I was just there killing folk.
You play one of 4 different characters. There's a biker, there's a priest, there's a cop, and a raver chick.
Vic likes the raver chick.
Yeah, I really like the raver chick because she's got 2 9mm pistols.
You pick up different weapons, and there's nothing more satisfying than getting a nice big shotgun, going up to one of these zombies, sticking it in his gut, and then blowing him back about 90 yards. This is called fun.
You need help, man. The pace is relentless. I mean, there's bad guys coming all the time.
Constantly.
What I really liked about this game was the fact that you could play with 3 friends. You could introduce new characters at any time. You could be playing by yourself, and then all of a sudden your buddy wants to come in and join the game.
And steal your continues.
Who would do that?
Here's the problem with the game is that it kind of suffers from certain game design elements.
Yeah.
For example, invisible walls.
Oh, man.
I know this is one of your huge...
I hate invisible walls. Why don't developers put blockades up?
Just put up a fence. I mean, they got... There's an area in the game where they have these fences that are about, knee level or waist level, and you can jump up to about here.
That's to keep out kittens, I think. The other thing that I didn't like about this game is that you have all of these really nicely rendered objects all around you, and you want to be able to take these powerful weapons that you've got and blow them away, especially in an Xbox where you have that much horsepower and you know that the system can handle that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You can only take the game in small doses. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
I give it a 7.5.
We'll be right back with Reviews on the Run.
Let's talk about Headhunter for the PlayStation 2. It's published by Acclaim, but it was originally developed by Sega.
I wasn't expecting a lot going into this title,
Yes.
but I gotta say it was one of my favorite games this week.
It's an incredible game. This was released on the Dreamcast actually last year, and you can get it as an import for your Dreamcast.
In a type of game like this, it's very hard sometimes to get the controls down right as far as the character movement and the way the camera angle moves. I thought this was one of the best parts of Headhunter.
You play a super cop who's part of a group called the ACN. Your name is Jack Wade.
But you have amnesia, of course.
Right,
and,
of course.
I got to say that the cinematics and storyline, dialogue in this game are some of the best I've seen to date on the PlayStation 2.
They've used these fake newscasts. It's actually full motion video. These guys have done a really good job. The writing is humorous.
The dialogue is great.
Yeah, it is.
It's a
It
really
really is.
good script writing. You can also get on a motorcycle and ride around the city.
It's so cool.
I'll tell you one of my problems, though, with the game.
What's that?
Was that it was almost a little bit too Resident Evil-ish in that you have this whole inventory system.
Right.
I come up to an object and it's sitting on the floor. Don't ask me if I want to pick it up. Of course I want to pick it up. I need it to finish the game.
Well, honestly, though, it's easier and more intuitive than the Resident Evil.
It is. It's better than that, but still. It is kind of stealthy.
Yes.
There's ways to get around certain things, but there's a lot of figuring out.
And then
what
you
to
hop
do.
on a motorbike.
And then you hop on a motorcycle.
It's deadly.
Now, that's the other problem I had, though, is that you can drive around the city, but you can never get off it.
It's really just a tool. It just gets you from
It's
one...
cool. I'm glad they put it in.
Yeah.
But I wish they could have maybe had some bad guys shooting at you and you can
Yes,
get off the
I agree.
bike. And
I
you do
agree. I
some
mean,
stuff.
maybe that's going to be in Headhunter too. But I was really pleasantly surprised. Headhunter is an excellent game, and I highly recommend checking it out. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
I give it an 8.5.
We're going to switch off of the scary games for a minute, and we're going to talk about Global Operations, a new tactical squad-based first-person shooter game.
Well, that's not entirely true, actually. Global Operations is pretty darn scary.
You do find it scary?
It's so scarily bad.
Well, I would say that the thing that the Barking Dog guys did right with Global Ops is that they brought in all of the different squad guys that you want in there. You've got a commando, you've got a heavy gunner, you've got a medic, a sniper, a recon guy.
Every game like this has those things.
Also like all the weaponry that you have. My favorite guy is the demo man. I think that using those rocket launchers and those big explosives and stuff like that, very fun, especially because the audio effects in this game are so incredible.
The sound effects in this game are absolutely the best. Would you agree with me? The best part of the game.
They're amazing.
When you hear a big explosion, you'll actually hear the high-pitched in your ears,
yes,
and all the other sound will be muffled. Brilliant! I love it. That's an awesome idea. That being said, the voiceovers in this game are the worst, horrible, most repetitive, and boring things you have ever heard in your life. Here's an imitation of the voiceover. I need a medic. I need a medic. I'll tell you what, this game needs a medic. I can tell you this right now.
It's been rehearsing that for 9 days.
True.
This game has every kind of weapon that you could ever want, and they've also used real-life scenarios to sort of influence the design of this game. So now you've got Mexican special forces against a drug cartel, or U.S. SWAT team against a band of terrorists that wants to blow up a dam of some kind. It's still got a lot of fun stuff in it. If you like that kind of game, you're going to find some fun stuff in here.
If you like this kind of game, you're going to be frustrated because you want to like this game and you can't.
You will want to like it more than you like it, for sure.
Exactly.
I agree.
If you like this kind of game, go out and get Counter-Strike. If you love this kind of game, go out and get Delta Force. This load gets a 5 out of 10.
A 5, okay. All right, I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Here's a recap on our reviews, including scores from Electronic Gaming Monthly and Computer Gaming World. Visit our website at www.electplay.com, or if you're mobile, wap.electplay.com.
Come on, Boba Fett, sing with me. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself, dude.
It's Boba Fett.
You're a silly, silly, silly little guy. What are you doing?
It's Boba Fett.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
Production assistance for Electric Playground is provided by Xbox, publishers of NFL Fever 2003, Nintendo, publishers of Eternal Darkness for GameCube, and PlayStation, publishers of The Mark of Kree for PlayStation 2.
So you kind of get a lot of this stuff and this stuff and this stuff. So he's really, really cool to watch because
About
he's running around.
this stuff. You got any of that stuff?
We got some of that stuff and some of that stuff. But
Do we have some of this stuff? Do we see him in that?
maybe.